Now look at me.
Why are you telling me?
Thank you.
He's
I'm
only
just
second in
telling you.
command.
I'm only number 2.
I mean, you know.
Oh, you're ready already?
I look forward to it. It's like you're, right there.
I did it
You
first
did,
day.
I know, but you usually finish with that one. It's
Yeah.
so pretty.
I agree. You complain to the rabbi. Don't
I mean,
look at me.
thank you. You know what I mean? Enough already.
Yoshu, what do? Complain, you're preaching to the choir. Complain to the wrong one.
Whatever. Just, man. I will, but I gotta wait a whole year. Will you remind me in a year? Cut
Should
the-
all be alive and well.
Yeah, I guess.
Baruch Hashem, may it happen.
All be alive.
Whatever, okay. How'd you feel
Feel
afterwards?
good now. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
very tired
Yeah.
the next morning.
Because you're on your feet. I mean, you're really on your feet.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
he wasn't on the street. He was bowing down.
Well,
Oh,
That's,
That's the hardest part.
It really is.
After the third one.
With the mic, you're doing it, yeah.
You know, the blood rushes to
Yeah.
you,
Your
and you
face.
haven't eaten. You got to be careful when you get up. You got to really slowly.
yeah.
But it's fine. I've been doing it so long that
It's
You know,
second
it's,
nature. But nobody does it like you. You do a great job.
Thank you very much.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you.
wow.
And the stirring song, and Common Destiny.
That is a
Very
pretty
nice.
one. That
Oh,
is.
thank you.
You
Thank
did a great job.
Yeah, but he did it on a video, and I
So
want
what?
to.
That way it's
No, it's beautiful.
it's that way it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
you see,
all the
yes, that's
flags
true.
and everything else.
Very different.
Yeah, yeah.
Except there's a
Emotional.
picture of Obama standing next to Netanyahu. That's the one thing that's
Who-
got to be
Who
blocked
added
out.
that? Somebody
Well,
stopped.
actually, when it was made,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was president at the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what we used. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful, this?
Yeah, that's under there.
I know this
Here.
is from a bat mitzvah girl. She left it.
Was it?
Yeah.
You don't know which one?
No, I don't know. I don't
They never
remember.
asked about it
And I'm
either.
trying to figure out what's written here, and I cannot. I don't recognize it. It may just be Hebrew words.
Just keep, yeah.
So his seller
Okay, so you got that.
is a Yamim. I don't know what the heck this is. Yishmeru. Mishkanei.
Tishkol?
Mishkanei Baal, if not Yom. Oh, I think it's from the Psalms. It's something from King David's Psalms, but I'm not sure where.
Tehillim.
Tehillim. What's the singular of Tehillim?
Same thing.
No.
No? Tehillah?
Tehillah.
Tehillah.
You know the prayer Tehillah le David,
Yeah.
a prayer for David. So Tehillim is
The whole
a
book.
whole bunch of prayers. Yeah. Yeah. My dad, blessed memory, he memorized all 50 Psalms in Hebrew. Wow. Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like if you start him with a word, he'd continue.
But some are attributed to the sons of Korah.
That's right.
You know, the King David only wrote, is it the 72, up through 72? And then the balance, when you look at them, it says attributed to Aish.
No, but it's not Ivnei Korach.
Okay.
It says Lam Natseach.
Okay.
You know what Lam Natseach means? This is very interesting, because they used to have a choir and an orchestra in the temple.
Yeah, the Levites would sing, and
That's right, but they actually had with instruments. Menatseach means a conductor. So when it says Lam Natseach,
Yes, the conductors.
this is telling the conductor that you're
Right.
going to have these things, and this is dedicated Livnei Korach, to the sons of Korach. But King David wrote them all.
all. Okay. I thought for some reason he stopped at 72. I was
No,
reading it.
he wrote them. What do you think of that?
Yeah. That's a good
He's
lesson.
quite a man. Besides being a king, he was
Yeah.
a composer, right?
My favorite is 121.
Which one is that one?
I lift up my eyes to heaven.
Oh,
and
yeah,
where will my
the
help come
Sinai.
from?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
My help from other that comes from Adonai, the God of Israel, that neither slumbers nor sleeps.
That's right. Okay, for next week, your homework is to recite that in Hebrew.
Okay.
Yeah, Aaron's always good for a challenge.
I used to read on a 30-day basis, divide them up and read one for each day. Which is the Torah for today? They got the right one?
I'm sure they do, because they've been in here,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. An early minion.
Everybody's coming in.
Well, it's not early, 9:30.
Oh, was it 9:30?
Yeah, but we'll speed through.
Okay, all right, we can make it up.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi. It's on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't
He's
know,
a beautiful
so
guy.
you weren't watching at the end when?
No, not at the very end, because my wife, my daughter, and son.
It would have to be at least 20, 30 minutes.
Do you have access to Propuses? We tried to get on, it has a, you gotta have a member
Brian
number.
might have, I'm not sure.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, man, good morning.
Shabbat
We're
shalom, my
doing
friend.
fine. Doing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a visiting rabbi today.
Rabbi.
Yes.
That was great,
We gotta
Rabbi.
treat him right.
I gotta get the dynamics up here.
Yeah,
What's
you
it like?
figure it out.
You don't miss it, be honest.
Well,
He likes to write now, he's writing in the Jewish Herald.
well, he's a prolific writer. He's
I'm a
always been.
prolific writer.
And then we rent the
Actually, I probably miss it all more if I didn't have the column, frankly, but the column
Kind of gets you.
gave me the opportunity when it happened to write a sermon, in a sense, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes, yes, so you're.
Because you see things, one of the things I've told people is that when you're a rabbi, and especially for many years, everything you see, everything you hear, everything you read becomes part of the sermonic grist. You know what I'm saying? You,
Give him a new one.
We're prepared.
with another cheap one.
Hey,
My good one, my
we
95.
we made the appeal, but the money hadn't come in yet. Okay, so,
And the hardest thing for me when I retired was that I kept having the ideas, and I kept seeing things and reading things and hearing things, and I couldn't do anything with it. So coincidentally, that's when they offered me the
I mean,
column.
Vicky came to you and said, would you like to?
Vicky was in the hospital with her husband, who's not been well,
Yeah.
Larry.
Larry.
And yeah, it was right after I retired, and she told me, they had a columnist in the paper, one of our members, oh goodness, he was a psychologist, and for a moment I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Oh, darn, I can't
He
remember.
passed away.
He did.
Yeah.
So she-
My mother-in-law used to go to that.
He was a wonderful
Yes.
doctor and person. I can't remember.
All right.
So she said, so she's standing over the bed with me, and she says, I need somebody to write a column. I just don't know who. I said, do you have any ideas? And so I gave her Roy Walter. I gave her like a half dozen names. And I didn't even, you know.
Didn't think
He didn't
think of me.
contemplate that he could do
She-
it.
it's just, and I went home, and that night she called me, and she says, I feel like an idiot. What about you? So I said, okay. And it turned out to be a good thing for me.
Absolutely.
So anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Well,
You want to take over?
no, I'm not doing anything.
Oh, I thought you were. Oh, you just
I'm
came
doing the sermon. I'm doing the sermon.
Oh, okay. Well,
So that's all.
all right, good.
That's important.
All right, well, you want to sit up here while you do
No.
your sermon?
No, I think I'm gonna sit with Marcy.
Oh, okay, Marcy's coming.
I got
All right.
Marcy, I got my friends, we're all sitting there.
Okay, all right.
So you hand out the lead, give him a lead.
Okay. Okay.
Steve Rabbi? That sounds nice. Boy, some things never change, do they?
No, they. They won't buy it. It's like the wife she told the son.
It's like the, the comedians convention. And all the comics are standing around, and he said, number 6, and everybody starts laughing. Number 5, he says, number 14, everybody starts laughing. 13, oh yeah, that's a great one.
Now 12, nobody's laughing.
12, nobody's laughing. Like, what?
No,
What? We all heard that one.
no.
What?
It's the way you told it.
That's the punchline. I forgot. That's the part about the punchline. Thank you.
Actually, it's the prison joke.
Oh, it is?
Yes, yes, it's a prison
That's a good one.
All right, let's go.
All right, wonderful. God, it's late.
Yeah, bye-bye.
We're ready.
All right.
Oh, you can make it a time, you, zip right through it.
Can't do it. God doesn't like that. He told me.
I told you, he said, look, take it to me. Yeah, I don't, when people say the blessings for the Torah,
Yeah.
it really defies belief.
Yeah.
Sing it, enjoy
Yeah,
it.
because they get nervous.
You're Dominic? Yeah, like,
And just hurry back though,
no, last night.
so we don't miss you in here. No, David's giving the sermon. Yeah, yeah, I'll hurry back, all right. The day after Yom Kippur. It's hard to prepare anything.
All right.
All right, good morning, everybody, and good Shabbos. I know it's good to have you all here. I know a few more people coming, but I know Shabbat after Yom Kippur, it's not easy to get people here, so we're honored that all of you came this morning, and we appreciate it in these days in which we now get ready for Sukkot, which begins just a couple nights away, Monday night, so a little over 48 hours away. It's hard to believe. So, but it's good to daven today and to have our cantor with us as we celebrate Shabbat. And we begin in our Sidurim, page 147, Shochenat.
Shochenat kadosh shemo rananut tzadikim b'nai sharim befi sharim titalal uvdivrei tzadikim titbarach ובלשון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמקהלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל. להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפעל, לדומם, להדר, להלל, לברך ולגלז על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות, דוד בן ישי, עבדך משיחך, ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו. ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, אל ההודות אדון הנפלאות, הבוכה בשירי זמרה, מלך אל חי העולמים.
Please rise, page 148.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
יעמדי לחיותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה תאמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל.
And please be seated as the cantor continues, page 150.
אפס בלתך גדולנו לימות המשיח, ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים. 151. אל אדון על כל המעשים, ברוך ומבורך בפי כל נשמה, גודלו וטובו מלא עולם, דד ותבונה סובבים אותו, המתגאה על חיות הקודש, ונדר בכבוד על המרכבה, זכות ומישור לפני כיסו, חסד ורחמים tevel meleim zivum fikim noga na'ezivam bechol ha'olam smechim betzitam v'sasim bevoam asim be'emaretz ha'konam ve'erech avon notnim lishmo soda verina lezecher malchuto hara l'shemesh va'yizrachor hitkin surat הלבנה שבח שבח נותנים לו כל צבא מהרום תפארת וגדולה צרפים ואופנים וחיות הקודם. תתברך משה על שבח מעשה ידיך ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפרוך הסלע. 153 וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה ובתורה בשירה ובזמרה ובזמרה ומברכים ומשבחים ומפארים ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים. להרגיש להיות סטרום בנחת רוח בשפה ברורה ובנימה קדושה כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. והאופנים וחי לקודש ברעש גדול מתנשאים לעומת צרפים לעומתם משבחים ואומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות. Middle of 154 והביאנו לשלום מארבע גנבות הארץ ותוליכנו כל מיעוט לארצנו כי אל פועל שועות אתה ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול סלע סלע באמת להודות לך ולייחדך באהבה ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. Join together in the Shema, page 155. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Continue silently. We gather our tzitzit and join in the middle of the page. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. לדור ודור קיים ושמו קיים וחיסון נכון ומלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת. פודנו מצילנו מעולם שמך, אין אלוהים זולתך.
Middle of 154. משה ומרים ובני ישראל הכנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא. שירה חדשה שירו גאולים, לשמך שפתיים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד.
Please rise.
צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, לפני חינומך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Join together, page 159. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, אל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מושיע ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה, רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, בנאמר חיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. 161. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול,
מתנשאים לעומת שרפים, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון, בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון. תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים, ירושלים עירך לדור ודור, לדור ודור, ולנצח ולנצח נצחים. עינינו תראנה מלכותך, כדבר האמור יראו זכר על ידי דוד, משיח צדקך, ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, כי אל מלך גדול, מלך גדול, גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה, אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. We continue silently, pages 162 through 166. Please be seated as you conclude the Amidah. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמד יבנה חירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון ומכון וחייך בן ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחוד. לעילה מכל בחטא ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. יתקבל צלות ונבואותן כל ישראל, קודם אבוני בשמיה, ואמרו אמן. יש למרבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen.
Good Shabbos again, everyone. And we now reached our Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah service for this morning. We turn now to page 168, and we begin at the very top of the page, Ein Kamocha.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך, מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז עמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, על הרחמים היטיב ברצונך את ציון. תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים, כי בך לבד אנחנו, מלך אל רם ונישא אדון עולמים.
Please rise.
ויהי בנשוא אהרון ויאמר משה, קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך, כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ולבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו, ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. 170. בינר החץ ולשמי קדישה, קדישה יקירה, הנאמר תושפכן, יהי ראווה קודמך, ותפתח ליבי באורייתא, ותשלים משאלין דליבי, וליבה לכל עמך ישראל, לטוב ולחיין ולשלם. אמן. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. אחד אלוהינו גדול אדוננו קדוש שמו. גדלו לאדוני איתי ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. לך אדוני הגדול הגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש. רוממו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו והשתחוו לאדם רגליו קדוש הוא. רוממו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
Please be seated. And I invite you to take out your Chomashim, and we turn to page 1185. And there we reach our Parsha Hazinu, to give ear. Give ear, O heavens, let me speak, let the earth hear the words I utter. And this is the last Parsha of the year, in which we read from the Torah cycle. Next Shabbat, we'll be reading the Parsha for Sukkot, and then Simchat Torah just a few days later. And so 2 weeks from today, we'll be reading Breshit. We'll start over. So this is our last Parsha of the year. I often look at this Parsha as the rabbis do. This is one last opportunity Moses has to be with his people before he'll pass on and the people will prepare to enter the land of Israel with Joshua in charge. And the rabbis give an analogy. It's an adult, a parent, father or mother, when they're with their child one last moment before they're off on a journey, before their child goes off to college or to camp or wherever that may be. It's that one last chance for that father or mother to spend time with their child. And they may add a little bit, just to spend some more time with their loved one, just to have something else to say. And it's also a chance to offer those last pearls of wisdom before their son or daughter goes off into the world. So I think of that as we read this Parsha Hazinu. This is Moses' one last chance to give some advice to his children, the children of Israel, our people, before he'll set on his way to heaven and the people will prepare to enter the land of Israel. So it begins on page 1185. Ha'azinu, give ear, O heavens, let me speak, let the earth hear the words I utter.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Israel Bigdushato. The Atemad Bekim Baranai Elohim. Hayim Kochem Hayam.
The reader is Michael Richker.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ha'azinu hashamayim va'adabera v'tishma ha'aratzim refi Ya'arov kamatar lechi tizal katal imrati kisirim alei desha v'chirvivim alei Esav ki shem Adonai ekra havu godel Eloheinu hatzur tamim pa'alo ki chal derachov mishpahat el emuna ve'ein avel tzadik v'yashar hu shichei lo banaf mumaham dor ikesh uftalto Hala Adonai tikmilu zod am nafal v'lo chacham halohu avichakanecha hu asacha vayachonanecha.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam natav b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Tamad Sheni.
The second reading is on page 1186, verses 7 through 12.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Zachor yemot olam binu shenot dor bador sha'al avicha v'yakecha zechenecha v'yomru lach b'hanchel elyon goyim hafrido b'nei adam yat saved nevulot amen Gevulot ameim lemizpar b'nei Yisrael ki chelek Adonai amo Yaakov chevel nachalato yimsa ehu be'eretz midbar uvtohu yolel yeshimon yisovavenu yavonanehu yitzrenhu ka'ishon eno kanesher ya'ir kino al gozolaf yirachev yifroz kanafaf yikachehu yisaehu al evrato Adonai badad yanchenu ve'en imo el nechar.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yamad Shlishi.
For the third reading, we're on page 1187, verses 13 through 18.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai barach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'notan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Yarkivehu al babat haaretz vayochal tunevot zadai vayeni kehu davash misela v'shemen milchan mitzur chemat bakahar v'kalev son im chelev karim va'eleim b'nei v'shan va'atudim im chelev kilyot chita v'dam anaf tishtechamer Vayishman Yisharun Vayivad Shamanta Avita Kasita Vayitosh Eloha Asahu Vainaber El Sur Yeshuato Yakni Uhu Bazarim Batoe Vahot Yakisuhu Yisbahu Lashedim Lo Eloha Eloha Elohim Lo Yadaim Hadashim Mikarov Ba'u Lo Sa'arum Avotechem Sur Yalatacha Teshi Vatishkach El Makol Lefta
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tzochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yamad Revi'i.
For the fourth Aliyah, page 1189, verses 19 through 28.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayar Adonai Vayinas Mikas Banav Uvnotav Vayomer Hastira Fanai Mehem Ma'acharitam Kidor Tatfuchot Hema Banim Lo Emun Bam Hem Ki Nui Below El Ki Asuni Bahavlehem Va'ani Natni Ein Below Elham Bagoy Naval Achaisam Ki eish chadcha va'api vatikahad adshol tikdaktid vatocha eretz vivulaha vatlahet mosdei harim aspeha Aspe Alemo Ra'od Chitzai Akale Baham Bezei Ra'av Uchumehe Reshefet Ketep Mariri Beshen Mehemot Ashalak Baham Im Chamad Zakole Afar Michutz Shachel Cherev Umechadarim Emaha Gam Bachur Gam Batulaha Yonek Im Iseva Armati af ehem, ashbita me enosh zichram, lule, kaas oyev agur, pen yanakrem saraymoho, pen yomru, yadenu rama, v'lo Adonai pa'al zot, ki goy ovad atzot hema, ve'em bahem tavuna.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'torheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ya'amod Chamishi.
For the fifth of the year, we're on page 1190 at the bottom, verses 29 through 39.
Baruch Adonai HaBarak.
Baruch Adonai HaBarak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Lu chachmu yaskilu zod yavinu liyacharita mecha yerdov echad del lev shnaim yanisu revava im lo ketzuram echadam Adonai yiskiram ki lo ketzurenu tzuram yavinu pililim ki migefen tzedom gavnam mishad motam hara anavei mahin veirosh ashkalot merorot lamo Taninim Yainaham Verosh Patanim Aksar Alahu Kamusimadi Khatum Bihot Srotai Lina Kamshilahem Lietamot Raglam Kikarav Yamedaham Khashatudot Lamo Kiadin Haranayama Vilavadav Yidnecham Kiraki Ozlad Yad Yevazat Servazov Viamar Elohemo Surchasayiba Asher Chelev Zvachem Yochelu Yishtu Yain Nesicham Yakum Vyazrachem Yehilechem Sitra Ruata Ki Ani Anihu V'en Elohim Imadi Ani Amid V'achayeh Machatz Tivani Erpa V'en Miyadi Matzil.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nota b'torcheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
The tradition gives us an opportunity to take a break during our Torah service and offer a prayer of healing for all those in our family, in our community who are ill at this time. I have some names here, and if you have any names you'd like to add, please do come forward, and you can have an opportunity to recite the names of your loved ones or people you know in the community who should be added to the Misha Barak prayer at this time. Misha Barak, Avatenu Avram Yitzhak Yaakov, Imatenu Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Hu Yirep Yapeh Cholima Ela. May bless our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Becca, Rachel, and Leah. Bring blessing and healing to the following individuals: Edel Mendel bat Ita, Anap Bar Cohen bat Brendel Yaakov, Aram Yitzhak ben Chaim, Baal Miriam bat Chaya Rivka, Bela Rivka bat Sarah Leah, Benjamin ben Abraham, Chaya Leah bat Maharachel, Daniela Grace ben bat Nachama, Devorah Esther bat Vega Peril, Eliezer ben Malka Halevi, Esther Rachel bat Malka, Harav Zivi Hana bat Sora v'Yechmiel Yosef, Lev ben Gershon bat Zipporah, Michael ben Elidor v'Aaron, Miriam bat Rachel, Miriam Esther bat Razel, Penina bat Sarah, Sarah bat Esther, Shmuel ben Rita, Zipporah bat Jane, Yehuda bat Natan v'Betzion, Yosef ben Avraham v'Sarah, Yosef ben Shendel v'Aharon, Marvin Abrams, Martin Block, Bradley Borden, Hal Borland, Elise Brandt, Marion Braun, Zelda Brown, Jessica Chamir, Barbara Coleman, John Flatowitz, Paulowitz Flatowitz, Chase Brian Frederick, Harvey Feinberg, Sydney Mark Gold, Mike Gordon, Bill Granick, Lily Gribble, Pam Hausman, Phyllis Joachim, Renee Kolinsky, Marion Leon, Jason Lupaloff, Max Lupaloff, Dorothy Marr, Tyler Miller, Marilyn Milbacher, Jewel Myers, Jill Smiley Needleman, Joyce Oppenheimer, Rochelle Paula, Julie Scheinthal, Diane Richard Shapiro, Ike Shapiro, Marty Snyder, Diane Sofer, Charles Soule, Fran Spector, Lucy Suzy, Morris Tybell, Guillermo Vasquez, Janice Zinn. Razel Devora. Svi Ben Elka. In all those individuals' name, may they all have a refuah shlema, a complete healing of the mind, body, soul, and spirit soon. And let us say, Amen.
Amod Shishi.
For the sixth Aliyah, page 1192, verses 40 through 43.
Yeah,
The readers are our Congregational Balkore, Rabbi Danny Horwitz.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai
Sure.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yisrael Shemayim Yadi V'yamarti Chayanochi L'olam Im Shanot Yivrach Charbi V'adachaz B'mishpat Yadi Ashiv Nakam Tzarai V'lim Salaya Shalem Ashker Chitzai Midam Charbi Tocha Basar Midam Chalav Shivya Mirosh Parot Oyev Harninu Goyim Amo Kidam Avadav Yikam V'rakam Yashiv L'tzara V'chiper Admato Amo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yamdu Shvi.
For the seventh Aliyah, page 1193, verses 44 through 52.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Vayavam Moshe Vaydaber et kol divrei hashira zot be'oznei ha'am uvoshia binun. Vayachal Moshe ledaber et kol dvarim ha'ilel kol Yisrael. Vayamar alehem simu levavchem l'chol advarim asher anochi meid bachem hayom asher tavu mebneichem lishmor lasot et kol divrei haTorah zot ki v'davar reiku mekem ki hu chayechem v'davar hazeh tarichu yamim al hadamah asher atem ovrim et hayarden shama l'bishta v'ydaber Adonai Moshe b'yetzem hayom hazeh lemor alei al har avarim hazeh har nevo asher b'yeretz Moav asher al pnei Yericho v'eretz Canaan asher ani noten libnei Yisrael achuzah umud bahar asher ata oleh shama v'yasef el amecha kasher meit Aaron achicha b'orahar v'yasef el amav asher maltem bi b'toch b'nei Yisrael b'mei merivad kadesh midbar tzin al asher lo kidashtem oti b'toch b'nei Yisrael ki mineged tiret haaretz v'sham lo tavo el haaretz asher ani noten livnei Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayeh olam nata b'tochenu.
Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
We rise for Chatzi Kaddish.
ויתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, מלמדי ואחריותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב וימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וג'מע ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמה וימרו.
Amen.
Please be seated.
Yamad Maftir.
After reading is a partial repeat. We're on page 1194, verses 48 through 52.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe b'yetzem hayom hazeh lemor alei el har avarim hazeh har nevo asher b'yeretz Moab asher al b'nei Yericho re'ed eretz Canaan asher ani notein libnei Yisrael achuzah umud Bahar asher atah lesham av Yosef elamecha kasher meid Aron achich barahar v'Yosef elamav ahal asher ma'atem bi b'toch b'nei Yisrael b'mei merivad kadesh midbartzin al asher lo kadeshtem oti b'toch b'nei Yisrael ki mineged tira et haaretz v'shama lo tavo el haaretz asher ani notein libnei Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam notat b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yamdu amagbi b'galel.
Please rise.
זאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה תורה 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 ציווה לנו משה תורה 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 ציווה לנו משה תורה 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 ציווה לנו משה תורה 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 ציווה לנו משה.
Sure. And you may be seated. Thank you to Rabbi Horowitz and Michael Richker for reading Torah. And now it's a pleasure to have Michael Richker laying Haftarah. And we turn to page 1197. And he'll be chanting from the book of Samuel, the second book of Samuel. And it's just as the song of Moses in Deuteronomy 32 that we just read. Now we have David's song of thanksgiving as he ends his life. We learned about Moses, his last song, if you will. Now here is David Melech, King David, near the end of his life. Page 1197.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrehem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei hamet v'tzedek. Vaydaber David l'Adonai et divrei Hashira hazot bayom, Hatsil Adonai oto, Mikav kol oivav, Umikaf sha'u, Vayom nar Adonai, Sal'i sudati, Fatili Elohei Suri Ekasebo, Makinei Vikaran Yishi, Miskabi, Nusi, Mashi, Mechamas, Toshi Aini, Mechula, Ekradonai, Ume Oiva, Ivashea, Ki Afafuni, Mishbare Mahavet, Nakalev, Beliya Yavaatuni, Chevle Shao Sabuni, Ki Muni, Mokshe Mavet, Basarli Ekra Adonai, Vel Elohai, Ekra Vayishma, Mehechalo Koli, Veshavati Baaznav, Vayishgaat, Vat Tishrash, Haaretz, Mosdod Hashemayim Yirgasu, Vayigasu, Ki Charaloho Allah Ashan Ba'apo, Ba'el Mipi Tolcher, Yechali Ba'aru Mimenu, Vayeh Shamayim Vayera, Ba'arachvel Tachat Raglav. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sur kol ha'olomim, tzaddik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'yoseh, hamdaber kayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ne'emanim devarecha, v'davar echad mitvarecha, achor lo yashuv rekam, ki el melech ne'eman, v'rachaman atah Baruch atah Adonai, El Hane'aman b'chol davar rav, Rachem al Tzion ki beit chayenu, V'la aluvat nefesh toshia, b'mheira v'yameinu, Baruch atah Adonai, V'sameach Tzion b'vanecha. Sabcheinu Adonai Eloheinu, Be'eliyahu Hanavi Avdecha, Malchut Beit David Mashichecha, Bimheira Yavo, V'yagel Lebeinu, Al Kisolo Yeshev Zar, V'lo Yinchalu Od Acherim Et Kavodo, Ki V'shem Kadshacha Nishbatalo, Shelo Nichbe Nero Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen David, Al Hato, Al Torah, V'al Ha'avodah, V'al Hanvi'im, V'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh, Shenatata Lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, L'tisha V'lim Nucha, L'chavod U'tifaret, Al Hako, Adonai Eloheinu, Anachnu Modim Lach, Umvarchim Otach, Yitbarach Shimcha B'fikalcha, Tamid Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Makadesh HaShabbat.
Thank you, Michael. It's always a pleasure. We appreciate you spending the time to learn so much Torah and Haftarah this morning. And of course, to have your wife Vicky here. We appreciate all that you and Vicky do for our congregation. And now we ask our congregational president, David Stein, to lead us in a prayer for the United States and Israel.
Almighty God on high, omnipotent King, look down from your heavenly abode and bless the United States of America. May our leaders strive to establish justice and opportunity for all, and may they be successful in bringing peace to the family of nations. May your favor rest upon our beloved state of Israel, its land and all those who dwell therein. Protect Israel from war and hatred, and may our Jewish state bring comfort to those who seek refuge, light to those who dwell in darkness, and new hope to all humanity. We ask your blessings upon the valiant servicemen and women of the American military forces and the Israel Defense Forces, who risk their lives to protect the welfare of all your creation. Be their shelter and fortress, and do not allow them to falter. Fill their hearts with faith and courage. Protect them on land, in the air, and on the sea. Guide them in peace, lead them toward peace, and return them speedily to their families, alive and unharmed. And let us all together say, Amen.
Amen. And now we continue with the Ashrei, page 181.
אשרי יושבי ביתך עוד יעללו חסלה. תהילת אדוני דבר פיו, יברכו ועשה שם קודשו לעולם ועד, ואנחנו נברך יה, אתה ועד עולם, הללויה.
Please rise, page 183.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו, הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לעמו, תהילה לכל חסידיו, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל, עם קרובו, עם קרובו, הללויה, 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 עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו, אמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש חדש ימינו, חדש ימינו כקדם.
So Rabbi Rosen is in the chapel giving this Devar Torah there. So while we wait for him to get back, we'll go and start our Musaf service. So we remain standing, page 184.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמד ימלך חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, וחיי חונה ומכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב יאמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיים. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהלל ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו. לעילה מכל אחד ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו. Amen. Join together at the opening of the Amidah, page 185. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaHanora El Elyon, Gomel Chazarim Tovim Mekonei HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גימור לעולם אדוני, מחיים מתים אתה, רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, וחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומינו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח מוכיח ישועה, ונאמנת על החיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. 187. נריצך ונקדישך כסוד שיח שרפי קודש, המקדישים שמך בקודש, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה על זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו, כבודו מלא עולם. שרת השוערים זה לזה, מקום כבודו לעומתם, ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו, במקומו הוא יפן ברחמים, ויחונם עם יחדים שמו, ויחונם עם יחדים שמו, ערב ובוקר בכל יום תמיד, פעמיים באהבה שמה אומרים, שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד, הוא אלוהינו אבינו ומלכנו משיענו, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו שנית לעיני כל חי, להיות לכם לאלוהים. ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We continue silently, pages 188 through 192. And please be seated as you conclude the Amidah. Migdal v'itkadosh merabah be'almadi v'achirutei ve'almich malchutei hayechoni v'mechoni v'chaynu chovei Yisrael b'agalav v'zman kari v'imeru Amen. Yehesh merabah mevarach le'alam u'lal me'almaya יתברך, וישתבח ויתפאר ויתשמע ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה, יריחו לעילם כל מחדה ושירתה, ושבחתה ולחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ויאמרו, אמן. תתקבל צלותנו ואותנו לכל ישראל, קודם אבהוני וישמעיה ויאמרו, אמן. יהי שלום הרב אמן שמעיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו, אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו, אמן.
And so now we call upon Rabbi Rosen to offer some words of Torah to us this morning on this Parsha Hazinu as we end our Torah cycle for this Jewish year.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I thank Rabbi Strauss for his very kind invitation. Our rabbis worked very hard over the high holidays, and Rabbi Strauss in particular delivered 3 outstanding sermons. And I confessed to him at our breakfast together that he actually brought me to tears in his Yizkor sermon on Yom Kippur. It was very touching, as were all of his thoughts shared with us this year. I'm often struck by what members of our congregation share with me. For example, I was once speaking with a congregant about Sukkot, who told me that he loved the holiday. Oh, he loved the great story about the Israelites dwelling in booths as they crossed the wilderness, the unique smell of the etrog. He loved everything about the holiday, he said, except for one thing: actually going out and sitting in a sukkah. He hated that. He never did it. It's too hot outside, he said. It's humid, it's muggy. People turn on fans which just blow hot air around, he said. Isn't there something that I can do inside where it's air conditioned that will count for sitting in the sukkah? I've had people over the years tell me that they adore Passover, the family gathering, the festive meal. The only thing they don't like is eating matzah. I've had people tell me that they just politely decline and have been politely declining for years and years. They won't touch the stuff. How can anybody eat that? It's dry, it's yucky. Well, yes. And these people have said, does it still count? Does my being at the Seder still merit the eternal reward for celebrating Passover if I don't eat matzah? I always give the answer you would expect from a rabbi. You have to sit in a sukkah and you have to eat the matzah. That's it. The rabbis are very clear. In fact, you don't have to eat matzah the last days of the holiday, but you've got to eat it the first day, the first night. And you've got to sit in the sukkah if you're going to sit anywhere. I always give the answer that you would expect, and I'm grateful this year to the National Football League and our Houston Texans for teaching me something about Sukkot and Passover and even Yom Kippur and even the pandemic that I might otherwise have never considered. You may be surprised to learn that the NFL has been experiencing a slight drop in attendance over the last several years. Before COVID, numbers were already in decline. And so many teams, including our own Houston Texans, came up with a rather amazing idea. They would create these large skyboxes that would be available to some of the more affluent fans. And these skyboxes are amazing because you can go to the stadium and sit in air-conditioned comfort and watch the game, the very game being played on the field, but you can watch it on a big screen TV, and I mean big. And then right next to the big screen and scattered around the skybox are other monitors that are showing all the other games being played in the NFL simultaneously. And while you're watching the game, or pretending to, because there's so much going on in these skyboxes, everybody's talking and sharing stock tips and who knows what else is going on, there's also food everywhere. It's around the room and they're constantly replenishing it. And what an experience it is. Now, I understand why the NFL wants people to come to the stadiums. Obviously, this is one way to bring many people in. They can sell you outrageously priced beers and ridiculously overpriced programs. So I get how the Houston Texans and other teams benefit. What I don't get is why Texan fans with this kind of money would actually do this. These are the same people that have 65-inch, 75-inch high-def televisions in their TV rooms at home. No shortage of food where they live, and they can subscribe to NFL Game Ticket or NFL Game Day and watch all the other games that are being played around the league. So why would you fight traffic, slog your way to the top of the stadium with 72,000 other fans, pay extra on top of your ticket in order to sit in a room filled with TV screens? What kind of a person would do such a thing? I don't get it. But the answer is really simple, I think. Yes, you can watch your team on TV at home, and yes, you can watch your team in these skyboxes, but there's something you can do in the skyboxes that you can't do at home. And that is watch what happens when there's a big play on the field. Watch what happens when the Houston Texans score a touchdown. Everybody runs from the skyboxes across the little promenade and stands with 72,000 other fans on their feet, yelling and screaming and getting all excited, right there with everyone together. Because there are some things that you can only experience to their fullest if you're actually in the game, if you're actually in the stadium, if you're actually there feeling the burst of energy and excitement that comes with a big game. You can smell it as well as feel it. You can't get this at home. You can't even get it sitting in your skybox. But you get it the minute you push open the door and you are with the rest of the fans. That's because actually being there is the best and perhaps only way to feel that you're actually in the game. I never thought that I would call our sages groundbreakers, but I wonder if they didn't have the same kind of understanding about what it is to be a Jew. Yes, you can be a great Jew by sitting in your lazy boy chair and reading books about what it was like for the Israelites when they crossed the Sinai Desert in the hot desert sun. And you can even go on Pinterest and Instagram and see photos of some of the world's most beautiful Sukkot. But it's not the same as actually going outside and sitting in one. You can sit at a Seder table and hear the entire story of the Exodus from Egypt and how the sea split, and you can sing Dayenu, and yes, you were at a Seder, but the rabbi said you are not at the Seder, and you have not celebrated Passover until you wolf down a piece of that matzah. Because only then can you really understand what the Israelites went through. Ke'ilu, as if you had been there, this is what it was like. And even for Yom Kippur, when we are commanded to fast, it's not just an act of atonement the rabbis teach, but in the prophet Isaiah's words, it's to understand what it feels like to be hungry. A feeling you can't really appreciate even by watching an infomercial on hungry children in the world, or a 60 Minutes feature on kids in America who go to school without breakfast. You can be the most empathetic person in the world, but until you've fasted 25 hours, as we did just 2 days ago, you can't really, truly feel what it's like to be hungry, if only for a day. If you don't actually get in the game, actually sit in a sukkah, actually smell the schach, touch the lulav and etrog with your own hands, actually eat the bread of affliction, then it's like watching Judaism at home, in a place that has no connection to what is really happening at the table or outside. And that's why I eat in the sukkah, even though it's often hot, often humid, and I'm fighting for a bee for that last slice of brisket. Because being in the sukkah gives me a feeling for my people's history, for all the nights they spent in those booths for 40 years, that nothing I could just read about ever could. And I think being in the game has taken on a new meaning for us these last 20 months.
as we have struggled to maintain our attachment to our faith and synagogue while dealing with our fears about the COVID virus. I understand, as all of our rabbis did, the uncertainty that many of our members felt about being in shul here on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. All of our rabbis understood that there are some among us who shouldn't be here, who are immunocompromised or have ongoing and worrisome health conditions. We would be among the first to tell them, stay home, stay safe. You can participate online. And two, there are others that have been vaccinated, but who still harbor deep fears about going out, not just to synagogue, but anywhere, because they are just worried. They have concerns, and we have to respect their concerns and respect their worries, and we can empathize with what they're feeling. But there are others among us whose explanations for staying away from the synagogue may be open to discussion. Before the high holidays began, I asked almost everyone I saw for weeks if they would be coming to the synagogue. Over and over, wonderful members told me that they wouldn't. Why take chances, they said, and I understood what they were saying. The thing I struggled with was where they were telling me why take chances. I saw most of these people at HEB in Meyerland or Randall's, where they were mingling with people all around them who were not wearing masks and who were unvaccinated. I went to restaurants and I saw many of our members happily enjoying a meal, surrounded by people at tables all around them, unmasked because you can't be masked while you eat. Many of the people they were dining with were unvaccinated. And yet these same people I saw shopping and dining all over town told me they felt less safe coming to Beth Yeshurun, where everyone was required to be vaccinated, everyone was required to be masked, and people could scatter and sit wherever they wanted in our 2,000-seat sanctuary with its 100-foot ceilings. Indeed, as I looked upon the congregation on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur with everyone masked and vaccinated in a vacuous space, I began to wonder if indeed there was any place safer to be than the sanctuary of Congregation Beth Yeshurun on the high holy days this year. Again, I understand that our reactions to this pandemic are very personal, and we have an obligation to respect whatever reason people give for choosing to do or not do whatever they choose. But it was what many people also said to me when I drilled down a little bit, and I asked them if they really thought that the synagogue was unsafe. And it turned out that a surprising number of our members gave me the same answer over and over. Rabbi, truth be told, last year we loved watching the services online and decided it was actually something very nice, and we decided we're going to do it again this year. We know that the chance of getting COVID virus when you've been fully vaccinated and are wearing a mask is only 0.0215%, which is 2% of 1%. Still, the truth is, the services at home were really, really nice. And many people congratulated me and you for the wonderful services that we are broadcasting here from Beth Yeshurun. Last year, this congregation invested thousands of dollars to make sure that we provided studio quality coverage of all of our services so that you would feel as much as you could here when nobody was able to come to Beth Yeshurun. Last year, we had no vaccines. It was a dangerous place to be. And people are right to congratulate us and thank us, and not just us. Every synagogue and church and mosque around the world has tried to make their online services as beautiful and compelling as possible. But we all thought last year that it was only for one time. How has online telecasting affected us going forward? I'm reminded of an op-ed piece I read in the New York Times a few weeks ago, which asked the question, has online telecasting of religious services of all faiths made religion too easy, too comfortable, Here at Beth Yeshurun, we began broadcasting our services years ago, well before COVID, for the benefit of those for whom coming would be difficult, if not impossible. The homebound, the bedridden, individuals who were delayed at work or lacked transportation or had any number of reasons that would keep them from coming to the synagogue on a Friday night or Saturday morning. Now many people just say it's easier. In the same way we don't need to shop anymore in stores when Amazon will bring it to your home. Many of us are asking if we really need to be in shul, if we can get the shul to come to us. But is it a good thing ultimately for Judaism and for us? I'm not suggesting we end our online broadcasting, but many rabbis, priests, and ministers across the world are asking if these online broadcasts will help us or hurt us going forward. For a long time, we considered this to be a time what's called a Shabbat Chak, as a time of emergency. And so, of course, we did everything we could to make these services even more beautiful online. But at a rabbinic symposium I attended a few months ago, the question was raised, when does the time of emergency end? When will we know that it's safe for everybody to come back? And that's a very big question, and it's not just rhetorical. We're told that we will be living with coronavirus, perhaps in some way, shape, or form, forever. When will people feel that the risk is so low that it is outweighed by the need to be back in our shuls? I found myself in line at Randall's one day last week behind a Jewish woman I know in our community. She told me that she and her family would be staying home for the holidays. It was too risky, she said, to go to her shul. So I asked her if she didn't feel it was too risky to be shopping at Randall's. To which she replied with a gentle laugh, "It's a risk worth taking, Rabbi," she said. "We've got to eat, don't we?" "Well," I countered, "maybe going to shul is a risk worth taking. We need spiritual nourishment too, don't we? Being with our community, touching a passing Torah, being part of a spiritual event that has always connected us with God and with each other. How would the sages put it? We need to be in the game, to be present, because it is such a vital part of being Jewish. So can you experience Sukkot without sitting in a sukkah? I suppose that on some level you can. And can you experience Passover without going to a Seder and eating a piece of matzah? Maybe. Can you understand what it's like for people who are hungry without ever going without food yourself? On some level, I guess. And yes, can you sit at home and sing Avinu Malkeinu by yourself while watching it on YouTube? Well, it's certainly better than not doing it at all. But I think the NFL has taught me something I already knew. That no matter what else you might do, nothing beats actually being there, being in the game. So this year on the Festival of Booths, I will put away my creature comforts. I will build my sukkah and not just tell the story, but actually be in it. Even if it's hot or it's cold or there are too many flies. For being there has always been the Jewish way. And I thank the Houston Texans and the NFL for reminding me of this eternal truth. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Thank you, Rosen, for a beautiful sermon. And I know you had a chance to address the chapel, and of course, those of us who are gathered here, but I hope you'll consider writing one of your articles in the Herald Voice that we always enjoy reading. And I love that idea of being in the game. And our services will continue to be streamed for those people who are at home, but our programs this year won't be. And so we're planning on ending any hybrid programs. For example, a few members of 100 Jewish Men asked, Rabbi, it's kind of nice. I don't have to come up to the shul. I can just listen to these great speakers from home. We're not doing that. You have to come in person. It is safe to be here. It's only for vaccinated people. And we expect and assume that most of our congregants are educated enough to know to get vaccinated if they're eligible. And so this is a safe place. Our services will continue to be streamed because we know that there are members that can't leave their homes or have issues that they can't be here even if they're vaccinated, or they live in other cities and want to participate in a bar mitzvah. So we're not ending our live stream. As Rabbi Rosen mentioned, we've had that for over 15 years. But in terms of programs, that's ending. And our goal this year, assuming that things continue to get better with the COVID, which they are, our hospitalization rates are decreasing here in Houston, for example. Looks like we've reached our peak. We're going to get people back. That's our number one goal this program year, is welcome back, get our members back in the shul, because if we don't see you and you're not with us, then it's hard to feel you as part of our synagogue family. And the synagogue is about being here in the building, to network with other people, to see friends, to make other friends, to be with your clergy, to be part of a community where you can truly feel God in these sanctuaries. As the ancient words remind us, "V'asu li mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham," build me a sanctuary so I may dwell amongst them. And you can have God at home, of course, but you really feel God in our tradition here in the sanctuary. And so that is our number one goal this year, that our leadership and our staff are committed to do. So we look forward to that this year. And so now we're ready to bring our service to a close. Ein Kelohenu, page 204.
Ein Kelohenu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkenu, ein Kamoshienu, mich Elohenu, mich Adonenu, mich Malkenu, mich Moshienu. Dai 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 Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Lai 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 Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Sheiktiru, Avoteinu, Lefanecha, Ektoret Hasamim.
And now please rise for the Aleinu, page 205.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו את וזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
And now let us continue with the words of the mourner's Kaddish for all those in mourning and all those observing a yurtzeit, page 207. Yitzgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yamad divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh techol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Omea Maya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitba'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei D'Kudusha B'rechu Le'ela Min Kol Berkata V'shirata Tishbechata V'nechemata Da'amiram B'yama V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. And just a few announcements to share with you as we prepare for the upcoming Sukkot holiday. We have many Sukkot events. Just run through them really quickly. This Sunday, our sisterhood is offering a wonderful program tomorrow during lunchtime. It is the annual, now called, Robin Shkolnick Sisters in the Hut. And this is a wonderful program our sisterhood's been doing for many, many years. But in memory of Robin, who began this program years ago, this is an opportunity for all the sisterhoods in town to come together and to create canvas panels to decorate the walls of the sukkah. So this will be tomorrow. What a beautiful idea our sisterhood's done to name it in honor of Robin. May her memory always be for a blessing. This Tuesday, we have our family program. And it's really for families of all ages. This Tuesday, September 21st, at 5:30 p.m., we're having an Israeli-themed dinner, schnitzel in the sukkah. And we'll have activities for our kids of all ages, and everyone will have an opportunity to shake the lulav and etrog with our clergy. This Thursday evening, it's September 23rd, we invite our young professionals to join Rabbi Ford for Jazzica, Jazz in the Sukkah. We'll have live jazz music and a New Orleans-style dinner. And next Sunday, September 26th, we invite our teens for a nacho average sukkah. Build our own nacho bar, and that's next Sunday for all our 8th to 12th graders. And Simchat Torah, of course, is next Tuesday night, September 28th, and we'll have an outside program for people of all ages, beginning at 6 p.m., ending with our famous Candy Hakafa, and that's Tuesday night, September 28th. And Simchat Torah, of course, continues the next day on September 29th. When you come to those Sukkot programs, you'll have an opportunity to donate any new or gently used shoes and cleats for our local organization called Soul Loved. This is part of our social action programs this year. And these shoes will go to teens and children to make sure that every child in the Houston community has a good pair of shoes to wear. And finally, next Friday night, September 24th, 6 days from now, I hope all of you will be here. We are honored to welcome the new Israeli Consulate General for the Southwest region, Livia Link Raviv. I had an opportunity to meet her a few weeks ago. She's a wonderful woman, lovely person, and I think we're really going to like here in Houston. She is a real professional and is really going to up the game of our Israeli consulate here in Houston. And I look forward to working with her. I hope all of you have a chance to meet her and to see what she has to offer our community. The Israeli consulate is such an important part of the fabric of the Jewish community here and the non-Jewish community here. And so this is our opportunity to welcome her to Beth Yeshurun. We're the first synagogue she's speaking at, and she just moved here a few weeks ago. But we look forward to welcoming her this upcoming Friday night, September 24th, to speak at our Shabbat renewal service. And I hope everyone will have an opportunity to join us in our Kiddush luncheon afterwards. We'll be joining our chapel community and our museum minion community at the conclusion of our service. And we're now ready to bring our service to a close. Adon Olam, page 211.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא להתנשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ויחריך לו את הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה ותפארה והוא אחד אין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי בצור חבלי ביצרה והוא ניסי ומנסני מנת כוסי ביום מקרא בידו מפקיד רוחי בית אישן ויעירה עם רוחי גבייתי אדוני לי ולא
And now please rise for the Kiddush and the Hamotzi.
Shenu, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri agafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
I know.
Stark, a wonderful sermon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait a minute, what is, that looks like a handmade.
No, it's a.
What? That looks professional.
It just
Rabbi.
It gives you more, takes it off your ears.
Oh.
And I had problems
The
with
only guy I know that can deliver a sermon where it's based on the Houston Texans.
Brian's
Oh,
done,
he
Brian's
could.
done a
I
bunch
know
of.
he could.
Brian's done a
Yo,
bunch of.
are you kidding? He'd do
It's
it.
hard to learn anything from the Texans.
How to be good losers.
Yeah, how to be good.
I didn't know where you were going with it. Beautiful sermon.
Me neither. That's the odd thing.
I don't think I've ever heard you use a football analogy. I liked it.
That was
I
great.
know. I know.
I liked it, but that's so true. Because they've upgraded these stadiums where you have better Wi-Fi so you can follow your fantasy football.
Oh, yeah.
Like people, my son's age, Ari, my son, he doesn't want to go to the games. He says, Dad, I don't want to go. I want to watch the same way. Yeah.